So today we are looking at the history of the Turks by another map video, and this one is created by Kayra Atakan Atakan, you know. So yeah, we've seen Turkish videos, but map videos before, right? History of the Turks and you know, kind of the Turkish war against the Greeks. So we've seen mostly all the map videos we've seen on this channel have been about the Turks. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this one's different and how the presentation is. And yeah, I don't really have much else to add other than we should probably get to it, eh? Without any further ado, let's see the history of the Turks. Okay, I was almost wondering if there was never gonna be any coloring, that all the names were just going to be it. I was a bit confused for a second there. But, okay, this seems to be, the first establishment, at least has a power right here. I'm not gonna pronounce that, by the way. But, you know, I've said it in the past videos before, that the Turks, it's interesting to me, because obviously I'm mainly more aware of modern day Turkey, obviously, you know, where we attribute, mainly that, and I was actually really close to Turkey. A few months ago, I went to Greece, and I went to the island of Samos, actually, which is, I think, really close to Turkey. Like, we actually saw, like, ships with Turkish flags, you know, the red and you know, whatnot, the red and white, and saw some Turkic people there, actually, as me and my mother were kind of walking around, so, and there was even some Turkic restaurants there, so it was really cool, actually. That's probably the closest I did. I didn't actually enter Turkey itself, but that's the closest I got, and, you know, like I said, when we watch these videos, I was surprised, because I kind of always thought that, you know, like, the origins of the Turks was always kind of be around Anatolia. So I was kind of shocked in the past map videos, just how they originated even further. You know what I mean? Like, Asia, and whatnot. Even, like, you know, the Chinese were battling against Turks through a lot of its history, and you know, the Turkish language, Turkish language, which was just all around the world, from Asia, making it all the way to Anatolia, the Middle East. Yeah, like I must have pulled this map up in the past, in a past previous Turkish map video, but like right here, the distribution. Okay, I'm suddenly unable to speak now for some reason. But the Turkic people, in terms of their distribution around the world, and the language, like again, like even much further and much more larger than I could have thought. And as we cover more history on this channel and more Turks kind of appear up, again, it's just something that was interesting to me. I was very ignorant. I kind of always thought it was regulated mainly here to Anatolia and whatnot, but it goes even further and originates even further even. So that was something that I always kind of, that's probably the biggest takeaway I have, you know what I mean? And probably the thing I learned the most in terms of these videos. It's very diverse, even, being a part of many different other groups, the Turkic origins kind of mingle with other groups. Like, we've seen some of its things with Bulgaria, some future Islamic Muslim powers. Like, the Turkish, like, people are very diverse and much more sparsed out in ways that I was so ignorant of before I started watching these map videos. So that's kind of been the most enlightening aspect for it to me personally, you know what I mean? And probably the one that fascinated me the most.
This may be the
Oh, dang. So I'm guessing that while these groups, this is how I'm choosing to interpret it. I could be completely dead wrong, by the way. But, I'm assuming that any major group that appears, in the side, like that empire right here, is probably the big power in a sense, or at least, like, meanwhile, these are still Turkic, but like more splintered and fractured. I'm assuming that's how I'm thinking it's supposed to be portrayed. Oh, we actually have sources here. Okay. Oh, and music, thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, another power emerges. Yeah, but it's the big influence starting right over here that catches my eye, you know, and just how much of them there are. It's interesting, and these like tribes, yeah, they're called tribes. Some of them, yeah. The Asian Avars. Yeah, we kind of covered the Avars a bit. And even having some origins with the Bulgarians, which I mean, there's like overlap, which is so interesting, you know? Yeah, because the Avar name has been appearing a lot in this channel, I've noticed. The Hunnic Empire. Okay, Northern Wei Dynasty? Wow, and just its reach all the way even to Europe, like, I'm telling you, like, look at this reach. It's insane. Yes, yeah, am I gonna try to pronounce that? The Khaganate. You know what's wait, no, I'll leave that to myself. But yeah, look at this, the new bigger power. And so far the biggest, I think, so far from what we've seen before. The biggest single power, well, it's getting there. Yeah, we covered this in the Bulgarian map video like a day or two ago. Even just how Turkish influence just had on just Bulgaria and its formation, which is insane. Again, just like the way it started here and just influenced all the way to Europe. Um, Again, that's the most interesting aspect I find of it all. Wow, even in the Abbasids, I'm telling you, like the Middle East, just like the Turkish like influence is like basically around most of the world, you know what I mean? Even Africa, Asia, Europe, like, again, what a great reach. Yes, the Seljuk Empire, heck yeah. As they've managed to break into, you know, Anatolia, and I think the most familiar, obviously, aside from modern-day Turkey, it's with the Ottoman Turks, right? And they've already broken into here. Spawned from the Great Seljuks. I'm interested in the Hungarian aspect. Like, we know of the Bulgarian influence, even to Anatolia, but it's the Hungarian thing that I'm kind of, like, been wondering about. I didn't know that, you know... I mean, obviously we've seen the Turks move over here through the map, but I wasn't aware that the Hungarians were so influenced as to kind of be a part of the map video. Again, they basically broke into Europe, two very prominent areas, right, of Anatolia and right here. Yes, even the Malmuks and the Gold. Wow, we've covered so many of these through like the rise of the Ottomans, like some of the map videos, just. Wow. You know, and just now knowing just how, you know, I was gonna say Turkishness. Turkishness is now a term I'm gonna use, is just a part of all of it. Um, it's mind-blowing to me, you know?
You don't have to be a VR.
Heck yeah, the Ottomans. Yes, the Timurid Empire. You know what's funny? I was actually doing some research on Timur because I've been incredibly fascinated with him, especially after the Rise of the Ottomans series, where he just completely like made Bayezid his, you know, his dog. Like and you know, people. I got to like some videos or something, and people were talking about how Timur was Turkic, Mongolian Turkic. Like there were some comments talking about his blood, you know. And, you know, this video kind of goes with the fact of his Turkic, you know, origins. Yeah, when Timur completely humbled Bayezid. And, yeah, the Timurid Empire was really powerful, but only so much so as Timur himself was alive, because I know it fell apart pretty quickly after him. Yeah, I also heard that the Mughal Empire might have been descended from Timur. I think someone commented that. I'm not sure if they got that right or not, but that's why the Mughal Empire is a part of it. And again, the Ottomans were huge, especially in their spreading of that, right? Like, man. Wow. And here we have where, I mean, obviously the Turkish language and people are dispersed, obviously, as we saw in the map earlier, but the main place is right here, right? The Republic of Turkey, here in Anatolia. Wow. Oh yeah, I forgot about the Turkish, um, holding half of Cyprus, right? Oh my, holy crap, I did not know about all this. Okay. All these other powers who are... Wow, I thought it was just Turkey, I didn't know about all these guys. And look at where they all are, just still... Again, the influence of this people is very interesting to me. They range so much around basically the world. You know what I mean? Like, oh my goodness. Wow. That was cool. Well guys, I guess that's the end of the video. Overall, I'm really enjoying these map videos. It's actually really fun. And again, the more I learn about the Turkish people, very just interesting. And I guess that I've already said that aspect of just how far they dispersed around the world and the influence they had on so many great empires and kingdoms from Asia to the Middle East to even Europe is just amazing, really, I think. I think that's just so interesting. And yeah, great video.